Hi, Kirk Junge here from LearningGolf.tv. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to swing a golf club, or more importantly, how you can go about either improving your existing golf swing or how to learn a new golf swing from the beginning. So there's a lot of golfers out there looking for the best way to swing a golf club, and I'm going to talk about that and go through it step by step here. You're going to want to subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Click the red button below and you'll get to see a lot more videos covering all aspects of the game of golf. And my goal is always to do it in the most simple manner possible, step by step, and going through each point, but trying to simplify the motion to its most simplest form, not overcomplicating things. So today I'm going to cover how to learn how to swing a golf club, and we're going to go through it step by step. So I have a 7-step learning program that I'm going to go through, and you're going to want to listen to every step, and I'm going to hit some shots for you along the way with various drills. So any questions or comments, you can always put them in the box below. I do respond to all reasonable questions and comments as well. So to get started, obviously the first step in learning how to swing a golf club or how to improve your golf swing is simply, how do you want to put your hands on the golf club? A couple of things are really important here, and that is the angle of the club through your hands, and this is the lead hand. So for right-handed golfers, I'll refer to the lead hand is the left hand, and what we need to be able to do is to create leverage in the golf swing. So it's important that we don't get the club too diagonally through the hand, as that will restrict leverage. That means that would restrict how much I'm able to cock the wrists in the swing. Some younger people who might like to copy Bryson DeChambeau, who I'm a big fan of, as he has also a very simple golf swing, can hold the club a little bit more diagonally. In that case, you're going to need to rotate the body more to be able to create speed. So generally what we're looking at here, though, is getting the club across the palm of the hand like this, so not completely diagonal, but also not horizontal across the hand. So I put it in, there's a little channel here between the palm and the fingers, and I try to put it in there. And so I'll put the hand on like this, so the leading arm goes out at an angle to the golf club, and then I feel where it fits nicely in my hand comfortably, so the fingers are wrapped around. And I also check to see that the back of the hand is matching the leading edge of the club face. So if you look at this, the leading edge here is horizontal, and the back of my hand is flat. I could put a glass of water on the back of my hand. So that would be a neutral grip. For those of you who are already playing and have a stronger grip, that's okay. Just make sure that you're able to create this angle in the golf swing, so where the wrist cock and uncock, that you're able to create almost a 90-degree angle here. If it's a little bit less, that's okay, as long as you're able to create this angle. So then what we want to do is make sure that when we're holding the club in our leading hand here, that we're able to get the grip of the club pointed under the leading arm. So I don't want to see that the club would be pointed at the middle of the body like this, because the problem is when we get in towards impact, the club is going to ideally come into alignment there, and so what would happen is that would have the tendency to open the club face. So we want to make sure when we have the grip correct that we are going to have that angle, and when we start getting set up, that the butt of the club, so if this was a barrel of a gun, it would be pointed underneath my leading arm to the side of my body. It's basically the rib cage here. So then when we go to put the trailing hand on the golf club, what we're going to do, we want to make sure that the trailing arm is going to come in more from underneath the club, so it's going to come in this way, and that the trailing arm is supinated here or turned a little bit away from the target, about 40 to 45 degrees. And from here, we're going to basically reach in and slide the hand so the fingers go underneath, and making sure that there's no space between the hands. I generally recommend an overlapping grip, so the little finger here will lay on top of the index finger from the leading hand, so there's no space between the hands. And I've also, though, seen people have success as long as there's not space between, if you go 10 finger or interlocking grip. But if you want it, the most simple to me is just an overlapping grip. So it looks like this when we get the setup, the leading arm, and then I bring in the trailing arm, so from underneath. And when I'm doing that, I'm trying to make sure that the trailing shoulder is staying back here away from the target line. I don't want it to go out. I want to make sure that it's back, so I'll put the trailing hand on the golf club like this, so it's coming in from underneath. And then what I'm going to do as we get into step 2, we're going to be talking about the setup. The grip is obviously part of that, but I like to separate the grip, how we put the hands on the golf club, and then moving into the setup. As we do that, we're going to need to aim our toe line towards the target. So for me, that's this yellow target. That's a 150 or 200 meter sign. And so I'll aim my toes at the target there. And then I'm going to look at a ball position that's between middle and the inside of my leading foot. And so as I'm getting set up, I'm aiming my feet and my body, and then I'm going to move the hips a little bit towards the target, so the leading hip is more over the leading foot. And then from there, I'm going to put on the trailing hand. So this is getting into the setup and making sure that the shoulder stays back. So it looks something like this. Stance width is individual. Too wide and it's difficult to turn. Too narrow and you might lose your balance. So a lot of members of my website are sending in videos of their setup, grip, and golf swing, and also doing the drills. And this is included in a very inexpensive membership. And I'm going to get into the next steps, but basically what I like to do then is create a setup routine. So I have a routine of putting my lead hand on the golf club, and then I'm checking my alignment, and I orient myself to the golf ball towards the target, so my feet are lined up towards the target. And then I'm also setting the ball position relative to what type of shot I want to hit. If I want to hit a lower shot, I'll play the ball back more towards the middle. If I want to play a little bit higher shot, I'll play it a little bit more forward. So as I get in, I'll just play this in a neutral position for a normal 7-iron shot. So I'm in this position. And then what I'm going to do is bend a little bit forward from the hips, trying to keep my spine in a neutral position. I'm bent in the legs at the knees, and I'm going to shift the hips slightly to the left. From there, I put the club down on the ground and then reach in again with the trailing hand from underneath here, trying to make sure that the shoulder stays back. I have the thumb over the grip here of the trailing hand, and the back of the trailing hand is pretty flat. So if you follow these steps, just go through it step by step. You want to get used to setting up. You can practice at home. It should take you only a few seconds to set up, including learning how to aim. So again, if there's any questions, put them in the box below. Also, please do subscribe here on my YouTube channel and visit my website at learninggolf.tv for more information. I'm going to get into step number 3 now of my 7-step learning system. And step number 3, we're talking about impact. And my swing system is called the Setup for Impact Golf Swing. And it is a single plane golf swing, meaning that we're going to try when we're swinging to move the club on the same plane back and through, much like Bryson DeChambeau does. And I've found that it's the most efficient way to move a golf club. And basically what we're doing when we're setting up here is setting up on our impact plane already. So as we set up, we already had the wrists in an uncocked position like this, and then we reached in here from underneath the golf club. It's definitely the best way you could ever swing a golf club. And again, we're going to set up. Once we're in our setup position, bend forward, shift the hips, wrists are here uncocked, and then we get the trailing hand on the golf club. Once we're there, I need you to learn how to get yourself into the impact position. And this will be a little bit different for each golfer. It depends on your flexibility. I allow for a great range of customization in this method. The main ideas being set up on your impact plane and move the club on plane, and with the right motion, the club face stays square through impact. And once we can get into our setup position, what I want you to do here for step 3 is basically try to push a little bit with your right foot and straighten your left leg so that the hips start to turn towards the target. You'll also notice that the upper torso also will turn a little bit with. This action should be pushing the handle of the golf club a little bit forward, like this. The reason that we need to have this position at impact is very simple. It's the position, and you can try this at home, as long as the grip is leading the club head through impact, what you'll see is there's very little rotation in the club face through impact. As soon as you do this, and you can pick up a club at home, as soon as you let the club head pass the grip, you'll see a lot of rotation in the club head. Other reasons are also, as long as we're turning the body through impact, it also flattens the impact so that the club stays more level through impact. It also keeps the club head on a straighter path towards the target through impact and allows you to hit the center of the face. So impact is clearly the most important part of the golf swing. We want to get set up for it, and that's what the first 2 parts of this system were all about. For impact, I want you to understand that we need to just comfortably turn. So you could take the club like this, comfortably turn, keep the head in position. Some of you may only be able to turn the hips that much. Some of you may have learned in the past that you need to keep the leading leg bent, and you'll find if you do that, it's much more difficult to turn. So we don't want to do anything to restrict the turn. So what we want through impact is that the leading leg is straightening as we get into impact. It won't be totally straight by impact, but it should be in a straightening motion. So when you're practicing here, you should be working on that motion, seeing that the leading hip stays in this area and then turns back here. It doesn't go that way. It simply goes like that. You can look in a mirror to see that. There's also a great new app that I've used on my iPhone and iPad called the Mirror Vision app. It allows you to use the cell phone as a camera, and you can watch what you're doing on the iPad. So I'll put the iPad in front of me here and the camera behind, and I can see exactly what I'm doing when I'm swinging. A mirror will work as well, although then you have to be careful to maintain your posture when you're setting up that way. So what we want to do then, once we're in our setup position, again, I'm going to check my alignment, make sure the club's uncocked so the trailing arm's on the same plane as the golf club, like this. And then all I'm going to do is apply some pressure against the ground to move, using my legs to move my hips towards, so they rotate towards the target. That's going to also have the effect that it rotates the upper body a little bit as well. And this is ideally what we want at impact, and this will allow you to move the club properly through impact. That was step number 3. We're going to move into step number 4 of my 7-step learning program here in a moment. Don't forget to subscribe here to my channel, please, and also like this video. It helps a lot. So step number 4 of my 7-step learning program consists of 6 drills that teach you step by step how to build a great golf swing. These drills can be done at home or anywhere you happen to be. It's helpful to have a mirror to look at or to shoot a little video of yourself to compare to what you're going to see me do here. So I'm going to be going through each of the drills and performing them for you, and at the same time give you a couple of important checkpoints for each of the drills. So here we go. So with drill number 1, what we're going to be doing, and again, you need to go through your routine. You need to make sure that you're aligned at something, even if you're inside, just that you're aligned towards a target so you're aware of where you're trying to swing. And then you could set up to a piece of paper, crumpled up paper on the ground, or a wiffle ball, or whatever you happen to have. And so if I set up to a ball, it would look like this. And then all we're going to do here for drill number 1 is simply using our body to turn. And I'm using the feet, the legs, and the hips, as well as the upper body, to start to move the club back so it's in this position. So you can see the hands have not done anything at this point. I've simply turned my body, trying to get this hip to turn in, so it turns in. The club head is going back away from the target. The grip would be pointed here at the side of my body. My leg, my trailing leg here is still flexed, and my leading leg is bending out towards the ball slightly. From here, I want you to try to keep the club in the same position and start to move the body back to the impact position, meaning starting with the feet, I'm going to apply pressure and turn, and this is going to start to move the club back to impact. So when I get my legs to the impact position and hips and upper body, you can see the club has also now been pulled in to my impact position. The impact position has the grip pointed just to the side of my body here. So you could think of drill number 1 as 1/3 of a backswing. Drill number 2, again, make sure you're set up properly. Drill number 2 is going to have us simply moving the club back a little bit further. So we started out like this, and as we continue back, what's going to happen is we're going to continue to turn our hips using our legs. We're going to turn back. We're going to start to cock the wrists to this position. So the hands are just slightly higher than hip height. The wrists are a little bit cocked here. And what I'm going to do from there is, again, using my body to turn, try to feel like the club stays in position here as we start and turn. And then the club starts to move down till it's in this position. From here, I would stop for just a second and then let the club come back down to the impact position, making sure the body should be in the impact position before the club gets there. Do these drills very slowly, like I'm doing here. Again, here was drill number 1 and drill number 2. So you can see I'm basically just simulating the golf swing, moving in slow motion, making sure that the motion is correct before moving on to the next drill. Drill number 3 is our full back swing. And so all we're going to do is continue turning back, cock the wrist, and keep turning until you feel you're restricted by the flexibility of your body. From here, I'm going to reverse with the legs. I'm going to start with the leading leg this way and pushing against the ground. I'm going to start to turn, and this rotation of the lower and upper body is going to move the club again into this hitting position. From here then, we let the club back down to impact. Don't get upset if this is difficult. Of all the people that are sending in videos as part of my membership program, nobody gets the drills perfect the first try. It's important to be patient, but also to have feedback. That's what my membership program does. That's what I do in my schools. In my schools, I help customize this motion to fit every golfer. So I can take into account your flexibility and everything else. I can also do that as part of my membership program, where you send in videos for my review. So do the drills to the best of your ability, taking into account your flexibility issues. Everybody's a little bit different, and make sure you do them as you see me doing them here. So again, drill number 3, I'll set up to the ball. Once I'm in my setup position, turn back. Impact. Drill 4 is a very small movement, and we're starting now in the through swing part of the swing, which is also very important. For these drills, I'm not going to have a golf ball in front of me. I'm going to note a piece of grass here. So once I'm set up, I'm going to do drill number 4. I'm going to do this, and you may do drill number 1 so you can get into your impact position, or you can set up, move your body to your impact position, and then all I want you to do is, with a little bit more rotation, let the club move with the grip leading till the club head and grip are just past your leading toe. So just to this position. It shouldn't be this way, but it'd be where the grip of the club is pointed to the side of your body. That's drill 4. Drill number 5, what we're going to do is continue turning our body. Keep your head in this position as long as you can. You can start looking towards the target though as we rotate through till the club's pointed towards the target. And that's drill 5. And for drill 6, we're going to continue to turn and start standing up. And we just turn our body around as much as you comfortably can. Many of you will end up just with your chest facing the target. Those who are more flexible will be able to rotate more. So it could be they're trailing shoulders more towards the target. So once again, drills 4, 5, and 6. Impact, drill 4, drill 5, drill 6. Those are the drills in step 4. You should do these drills at home as often as you can. Even just a few minutes a day will help you improve your golf swing.